Day 847 in Bunker 7, and Colonel Sarah Martinez was listening to alien broadcasts again. The preservation fleet had been in Earth's orbit for 2 years. 2 years of carefully cataloging the planet's ecosystem. 2 years of documenting what they called the tragic extinction of species 7H, commonly known as humans. 2 years of Sarah and the other survivors staying absolutely silent while aliens dissected their abandoned world. They're preparing to leave, Lieutenant Chen reported, monitoring the alien communications. Final survey complete. They're declaring Earth a protected graveyard and departing within 72 hours. Sarah looked at the faces gathered in the bunker's command center. 37 people. The last survivors of Bunker 7, one of 12 bunkers scattered across the planet, each housing similar small groups. Maybe 500 humans total, hiding underground while the galaxy mourned their extinction. Once they leave, Chen continued, reclaim the surface, start rebuilding. Or, Sarah said quietly, we can let them think we're extinct. Stay hidden. Stay safe from whatever caused us to hide in the first place. The room went silent, because everyone remembered why they'd gone underground. The war hadn't been with aliens. It had been with themselves. Nuclear exchange, biological weapons, environmental collapse. Humanity hadn't been wiped out by external forces. They'd nearly wiped themselves out through sheer self-destructive stupidity. The bunkers were built as last resort shelters. When the surface became uninhabitable, a chosen few went underground with orders to survive until Earth healed. That was 8 years ago. 4 years into their isolation, the preservation fleet arrived. Advanced aliens on a mission to catalog endangered species before they went extinct. They found Earth in ruins, no broadcasts, no cities, no signs of human life. And they concluded, logically, that humanity had killed itself. They weren't wrong, they just weren't completely right either. The question is, Sarah said, do we reveal ourselves? Or do we stay dead? Why would we stay hidden? Someone asked. The war is over. The surface is healing. We survived. We survived by hiding, by going silent, by making the galaxy think we're gone. There's power in that, in being underestimated, in being written off as extinct. There's also isolation, Chen countered. Cut off from the galaxy. From trade, from knowledge, from contact with other species. Is that living or just hiding? The debate raged for hours. Some wanted to emerge, to reclaim their place among living civilizations. Others wanted to remain hidden, to rebuild in secret, to avoid repeating the mistakes that nearly destroyed them. Sarah listened to all of it. Then she made a decision. We vote. But first, I'm going to tell you what I learned from monitoring the aliens for 2 years. Information that changes everything. She pulled up her files. The preservation fleet isn't just documenting Earth. They're mining it. Resources, technology, everything we left behind. They've designated our planet as abandoned property, and they're stripping it? They're grave robbers, someone said. Worse, they're salvagers. And according to galactic law, abandoned worlds become property of whoever claims them first. The preservation fleet is claiming Earth. Once they declare it officially dead, they have legal rights to everything. Our technology, our resources, our history, all of it becomes theirs. The room erupted. They can't do that. They already are. And here's the thing about galactic law. It doesn't protect extinct species. Dead civilizations have no rights. But living ones can file claims. Living ones can say this is ours and you're trespassing. Sarah let that sink in. If we reveal ourselves now before they finish their salvage operation, Earth remains human property. They have to leave. They have to return what they took. But if we wait, if we let them declare us extinct and depart, we lose everything. Forever? The vote was unanimous, but carefully, strategically. Not as desperate survivors begging for help, as rightful owners demanding their property back. The broadcast went out on day 849, simple. Direct, undeniable. Preservation Fleet, this is Colonel Sarah Martinez of the United Earth Bunker Network. Your assessment of human extinction is premature. We survived, we're here, and you're currently engaged in illegal salvage operations on an inhabited world. You have 24 hours to cease operations and prepare to return all extracted materials. The alien response came within minutes. Confusion. Shock. Denial. This is impossible. Our scans showed no life signs, no broadcasts, no activity. Humans are extinct. Your scans were correct, Sarah replied. We weren't broadcasting. We were hiding. From ourselves. From our own self-destructive tendencies. We went underground to survive what we'd done to our planet, and we stayed quiet while it healed. But we never left. Earth is still ours. And you're stealing from a living civilization who we had no knowledge of survivors. This changes legal standing. We must consult with Preservation Council. You have 24 hours. After that, we consider your continued presence an act of war. Sarah cut the transmission. Chen looked at her. War. We have 37 people in this bunker and maybe 500 across the planet. They have a fleet. If they call our bluff, they won't. Because we just went from extinct species to inhabited world. Galactic law is very clear. You can salvage a dead planet. You can't steal from a living one. And they're not military. They're scientists and salvagers. They don't want a war, even a one-sided one. Bad for their reputation. But we can't actually fight them. They don't know that. They think we might have weapons, defenses, hidden capabilities. The fact that we survived our own apocalypse and maintained bunkers means we're more capable than they assumed. They'll leave rather than risk conflict. Sarah was right. 20 hours later, the preservation fleet began loading confiscated materials back onto shuttles, returning stolen technology, erasing their salvage claims. We are departing, their commander transmitted. We apologize for the misunderstanding. Earth will be reclassified as inhabited world with full rights restored. But we must ask, why did you hide? Why let us think you were extinct? Sarah considered her answer carefully. Because we were ashamed. We nearly destroyed ourselves through war, greed, and stupidity. We didn't want the galaxy to see what we'd become. We wanted time to heal, to rebuild, to become something better than what we were. And have you become better? We're trying. We survived by working together, by sharing resources, by putting aside the divisions that nearly killed us. In 8 years underground, we've had 0 wars, 0 conflicts, 0 destruction. Maybe extinction was the reset we needed. Maybe dying and coming back has given us a second chance. That is profound. We wish you success in your rebirth. The fleet departed within 48 hours. Earth was alone again. But this time, humanity wasn't extinct. They were survivors with legal claim to their world and a galaxy that now knew they existed. The other bunkers began coordinating. 500 survivors across 12 locations. They had work to do. A planet to reclaim, a civilization to rebuild. What now? Chen asked Sarah as they prepared to unseal Bunker 7 for the first time in 8 years. Now we go topside. We see what's left. We start rebuilding. But slowly. Carefully. We don't repeat the mistakes that put us underground. And the galaxy, they know we're alive now. They'll want contact, trade, eventually. But not yet. We're not ready. Earth needs time to heal. We need time to prove we won't just destroy ourselves again. Let the galaxy think we're isolationist, xenophobic, whatever. Better that than showing them we're still the same destructive species that nearly committed suicide. They opened the bunker doors. Sunlight, real sunlight, poured in for the first time in 8 years. The air was clean, the radiation levels acceptable. Earth had healed while humanity hid. Connell, Chen said softly. We lied to the aliens. We're not better. We're the same people who started the wars. Who launched the weapons. Who nearly killed everything. We're just quieter now. I know. But we have a chance to be better. To learn from what we did. To build something that doesn't end in fire and radiation. That's all I'm asking for. A chance. They stepped onto the surface. Into a world that had mourned them and moved on. Into a planet that was legally, officially theirs again. Into a future that was terrifying and hopeful in equal measure. Across the planet, other bunkers opened. 500 humans emerging from tomes they'd built for themselves. 500 survivors of a species that had declared itself extinct to avoid facing what it had become. The aliens said they were documenting our extinction, someone said. They were wrong. We're not extinct. No, Sarah agreed. But the humans who started the war, the ones who launched the weapons, the civilization that nearly destroyed everything, that version of humanity is extinct. We killed it, buried it, and what emerges from these bunkers needs to be different, better. Or we don't deserve this second chance. She looked at the sky. Somewhere up there, the preservation fleet was updating their records. Species 7H status changed from extinct to endangered. Population approximately 500. Technological level reduced. Threat assessment minimal. They had no idea. No idea that those 500 humans carried the weight of 8 billion ghosts. No idea that humanity had looked into the abyss of self-destruction and chosen survival over pride. No idea that the species they'd almost salvaged had salvaged itself through the hardest choice possible, admitting they needed to die to live. Let's get to work, Sarah said. We have a planet to rebuild, a species to resurrect, and a promise to keep to every human who didn't make it to the bunkers. We're going to be better. We're going to prove that humanity's second chance wasn't wasted. They walked into the ruins of their world, into cities overgrown with vegetation, into a planet healing from wounds humanity had inflicted, into a future they'd have to build from scratch. But they walked together, 500 survivors who'd hidden from their own extinction, who'd let the galaxy mourn them, who'd emerged from the grave to reclaim their world. Humanity had died, and humanity had risen. Not the same, not unchanged, but alive, and determined to make sure their epitaph wasn't written yet, because sometimes the only way to save a species is to let it think it's lost, to hide until you remember what's worth fighting for, to die and be reborn. The aliens had evacuated Earth saying the humans were gone. They were right. The old humans were gone. What emerged from the bunkers was something new. Something forged in 8 years of darkness and isolation and reflection. Something that had seen the cost of their mistakes and chosen different. Only time would tell if it was enough. But for the first time in 8 years, Sarah had hope. Not because humans had survived, but because they'd survived by changing, by adapting, by becoming something other than the species that had nearly ended itself. The galaxy thought humanity was extinct. Let them think it. The truth was so much more complicated. Humanity had committed suicide and survived, had declared themselves dead to avoid facing their crimes, had hidden in the dark until they were ready to face the light. And now 500 ghosts walked the earth, building, learning, changing, proving that extinction wasn't always the end. Sometimes it was just the beginning.